Hey guys, this is Brian again with his distribution Canada Pokemon sales summary. One of the things about online sales in Canada is that you're competing against huge companies that have much better distributor prices than you do. They have bulk, or I guess they're used to buying bulk shipping services from Canada Post and from others. They're able to price far more aggressively than you can as a small online business. How's it possible? Well, there's also some, let's call them distributors who have stores as well. Um, I think that happens in the US too, but if you Google some of the Pokemon distributors in Canada, you might find other online stores that operate under the same address. Some of the cheaper ones as well. Um, how do they share an address? If distributor and online store are a separate entity? Anyway, if you are an online owner, you're competing against brick and mortar stores which have foot traffic for Pokemon. It has parents who are buying Pokemon. Parents don't buy Pokemon online, guys. Very likely these big stores, brick and mortars, have better distributor pricing than you. They have higher volumes. And even when you have a distributor, you won't have volume accounts or discounts for a long time, because I still don't. Well, I don't. The Pokemon market in Canada is crowded. And I think it's actually more crowded than the market in the United States. In the United States, there's a lot more people. And I did some math. There's more distributors per capita in Canada than there is in the United States. So there's a lot of Pokemon in Canada, and that's why you'll see there might even be a glut of product up here. So maybe I'll run some of those numbers today in the analysis that I did. Problems in Canada, we pay a lot in shipping. You can't ship a card with tracking for less than $13 a card. I mean, you could do it without tracking, but I've lost cards. Sports card sellers, there's a lot of sports card sellers, and they just fire sale their Pokemon allocations. They just want it off their shelves. They buy it, kids come in, sell it, otherwise they'll fire sale it. UPCs in Canada, the UPC price was $155 MSRP. There was a sports card seller for $105 plus tax. Canadian, guys, Canadian. So basically that's the same price that I pay for my UPC at allocation. So fire selling stuff. We don't have TCG Player or Troll and Trove marketplace to sell our goods, to sell our cards in the same way the United States does. And of course, you have the problem. Everyone is selling the same products. Very rarely do you see older vintage stuff in Canada. And also, many people who are selling at MSRP, below MSRP online. So if you're asking how do you compete, so easy with Walmart and brick and mortar stores, because they have to charge more. Walmart prices are really expensive. If you could charge those prices and buy a distribution, Pokemon business would be so easy. Even if you had to ship everything. But you cannot charge those prices. I wish you could be. You can't. You have to do better prices than what you find at Walmart. You have to have better products than what you find at Walmart. So, as you know, the industry is all about booster boxes, and most of the Pokemon products at Walmart are sold to parents, so they're not booster boxes. Most people who do hobby collecting do have a hookup, do have a contact, and are able to, this is one of the things that you need to establish when you're doing an online business. You need to establish a relationship of other hobby collectors who also want, access to products without having to run a Walmart and seeing empty shelves. So the only time you might go to Walmart here in Canada is if you're looking for something that you can't get in distribution anymore. Evolving Skies, Celebrations, stuff like that. But yeah, if you're selling, you need to beat Walmart on price. But it's not too hard, they're expensive. As I mentioned, relationships are really important in the Canadian online business. So you need to find the customers. The customers aren't going to find you. You can't just post stuff and people will appear. You need to be able to build up relationships with other Pokemon collectors. You need to give them a reason to contact you first when it comes to buying a booster box or going to the next guy. You need to know your stuff. There's some sellers who are in it just they're selling widgets to them. I mean, I know a great deal about Sword and Shield. I know a fair amount about Sun and Moon. But these guys, I mean, and I don't know a whole lot about Vintage or up to XY at all, but when you have your first contact with that customer, you have to be informed. You have to be knowledgeable and not too pushy to buy, but you have to be a person that they can talk to about what they're interested in. So yeah, be knowledgeable. You also have to be able to identify hot product. So Evolutions boxes, the Jolteon, the Flareon, the Vaporeon, those were amazing products. And they sold out so easy for me. There's other products. Evolving Skies, I was buying Evolving Skies, when it was, before it was crazily stomped out. I didn't buy them. They were really easy to sell, but I didn't buy when they're really high prices. One thing that surprised me is that here in the local market, Pokemon Go did extremely well. So I sold through all my Pokemon Go stuff pretty much in the summer, and people were just eating it up. Really happy with Pokemon Go, how it did locally. Online, people will curse Pokemon Go and not even exist it, but yeah. Working locally is important because shipping is a huge expense to an online business. I mean, I've spoken to some retailers and their solution is to just charge the individual shipping. Well, people don't like to be charged for shipping. I charge a nominal amount with PokeChalet, just enough for me to pay for my boxes and things, but for the most part I have to cover shipping inside of my margins. So you have to charge enough to cover your cost at wholesale and a portion, if not all, the shipping. So this can really drive up your prices. And although shipping is tax deductible, but you need to be paying tax on profits before it really helps you, etc. So you really need to be thinking about shipping whenever you send something off. It's nice to have an online presence, but you don't really make money selling online. You make money selling locally. So free shipping helps you to sell stuff, to be present, but yeah, local rules when it comes to the Pokemon market in Canada. Focus on local. This is one of my big pieces of advice. There's some sellers who just get a distribution and they'll think they'll have a website. This was me at one point. I knew a small number of collectors. There was people with some vintage collections. There were parents who had children who collected Pokemon. Parents do not become your customers, ever. And what I did is I focused on local. I got into local groups. I gave people a discount if they do a curbside pickup, if they pick up their orders locally, because that's where the money is from online stores. It's not shipping. Here in Canada, sales tax can be as much as 15%. So I always had to charge tax, and whether I'm selling something on Facebook Marketplace or another platform. The other thing, most people off online, they don't like to see tax. They like to sell for whole amounts. So buyers don't like seeing taxes, and they prefer their prices to be all in when it's in Facebook Marketplace or when it's on Facebook. So I may be selling a $159.99 booster box online, but locally, I'll gladly price it at an all-included price of $150 off if you're picking up locally. So saves on shipping, just makes it much better. So in short, if you're doing online sales, find local buyers, have better prices than Walmart. Go heavy on products you know will do well. Have your prices online just enough to cover shipping and try to get the final price a little bit better than your cost plus shipping. There's no free tendies. It's a lot of work. You need to love collecting. You need a fair amount of money and a lot of knowledge to make it work. And I'm still learning every day, so I hope you are too. One of the great things about being someone's contact for sealed product is trade-in credit, guys. So you'll see a great amount of singles on our site, trade-ins for sealed product. Next video, guys, like and subscribe. Do what your thing down in the comments section. Let me know what you want me to talk about next.